Phoenix Down Radio is on the air. With your hosts,
Klaus Nightbringer,
Sarah Tomoto,
Chili,
and Luna Vox.
Welcome everybody to another special episode of Phoenix Down Radio. I am Klaus Nightbringer. How is everybody doing tonight?
we're doing well. We are excited.
Why are we excited?
Perhaps hyped?
And hyped
We are
and
hyped.
things. And is Chili there too?
Yeah, I'm just looking at pictures.
He's I'm not sure that much is going to go in there now, but if you're joining us on the stream, thank you so much. We are live at twitch.tv/Phoenix Down Radio. We are doing a special blind reading of the patch notes, or at least I have not even read anything on them yet. So we're going to talk about things that I know nothing about.
Mostly blind anyways.
Mostly blind. Yeah.
And mostly I don't know anything anyway, so.
Yeah. Like, it's hard for me to do even if I skim, I accidentally read full paragraphs. It's kind of hard.
So Sarah's kind of going to be our fixer-upper
I'll be the
of
person.
the... Yes.
I will tell them when they are blatantly misinterpreting shit. Because they
we
missed
do
an
that a
important
lot.
word somewhere.
Yes, we do that a lot. So we are T-minus, what would that be, 8 hours from
8 hours.
Yep.
servers opening up. So who's excited for jumping into Alamigo?
I wouldn't say so much Alamigo, but Kugane and
Or Red
Other-
Mage hype?
I think I'll be more hyped when I'm actually in the game playing it.
Yeah, definitely. But me, not so much. I'm going to be at work. Boo.
Yeah, no, I haven't in service, but I'm done at noon, so...
Not me. I won't be back home till about 6 p.m. tomorrow, my time. So, yeah, 22 hours from now, I'll be able to play the game.
Tell them you're sick and dead and you'll be in for work tomorrow.
You're sick and dead.
Yeah. All right. So, shall we jump right into it?
All right, let's start scrolling through these notes.
Playable content areas. They're adding Ralgar's Reach. Duh. Kugane. Duh. Okay, the fringes. Now this is that area that had those spoopy trees they showed us in Vegas.
I'm really interested about what looks like a mountain with a big old ring scooped out of it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
me
looks
too.
like Ichigo had a little bit too much on his Bankai.
Oh, God. Put the weeb away.
What, you don't think it looks, or what?
Weeb away, the weeb away.
Anyway, so there's the peaks as well. There's a lot of where it's like, okay, it's generally this kind of environment, but then there's a lot of interesting elements that we can see in the pictures.
Yeah, I mean, we've got the two pyramids that are kind of squished together like an Oreo cookie, and we've got the giant bonsai tree. I mean, does that
I'm
look like just a
interested
giant?
in the ship back behind it in the second picture.
Yeah, kind of sitting on the that little plateau there.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
interesting that you refer to it as a giant bonsai tree, because the first thing I actually think of, also given the Southeast Asian, what looks like Southeast Asian architecture, is it's something like the Bodhi tree,
Yeah.
the tree that the Buddha was supposed to have been sitting under when he gained enlightenment.
I mean, and yeah, if you look at the little picture there, if you want to follow along, we are on the Lodestone's. We're on the preliminary patch notes, guys. So if you can follow along with us, we're not
I'll
going to
throw
put
out
that
the
up on the
links.
screen. Thank you,
People
Luna.
can follow with
Yeah.
us.
So if you want to follow along with us, if you're on the podcast, I apologize. This might not be the most interesting. We're going to try and describe the things that we see pictures. There's going to be a lot of stuff that we're going to talk about as well. But right now,
This
the
is
areas
very much this is very much a topical thing of the moment one.
Exactly. We wanted to talk about it a little bit, give some people something to do on the day that there's nothing to do besides listen to Maintenance Monday over and over again on Reboot.
I could be sleeping.
Yeah, you could be, but you wouldn't be.
Yeah.
All right. So continuing on, we've got the locks. It looks like a kind of a rainy, craggy area.
Look, I mean, the other picture of it looks somewhat deserty. Deserts tend to be super, super dry most of the time, and when they get rain, it tends to be a massive flood because they don't actually have any type of system to handle that much rain at once.
Yeah. I'm wondering if it's going to be at all similar to like Scottish Highlands.
Yeah, the name is intriguing.
Yep. And then we've got the Ruby Sea with the giant Jenga tower.
And that interesting demon island that they've talked about before.
Yep. Then we've got Yangsha.
Which looks really interesting to me.
Yep, that's the name of the whole province that's locked off to us. Is that the other one? The islands are locked off to us. Is that Yangsha?
I'm not sure. We've got looks like terraced rice paddies there.
I mean, it is very Asian influence, but bad me, I don't remember exactly which area is Yangsha and if Kugane is a part of that or not. I don't think it is. I think it's on the mainland. I want to say Yangsha is more like China, mainland China.
The name would fit.
Okay, and then we got the Azim Steppe, which is like the Mongolian. That's where the all the Aura nomadic.
Just from an
tribes.
architecture standpoint, that bowl-shaped thing is super interesting.
That and that giant head on it. That's a very interesting head.
The construction of that thing, is that stone there? That had to take a lot of work.
Just a little. They used magic.
Anyways.
Then they showed the new aetherites that have been added to Kugane and underwater and other areas.
I really like the Kugane one.
Yeah, that is
it looks
very
amazing.
They've talked a little bit about the different styles of aetherite based on their source, and the aetherites themselves do not have any new shape, but they definitely have a lot of different ornamentations on them from what we're used to.
Yeah, the one from underwater looks very similar to the ones out in like the
out at Oksundu, for instance.
Exactly.
Yep.
That's exactly what I was trying to go for.
And that's definitely one that you tend to see in a bit more of like a Beastman influenced area,
Yep.
which, given what we know about the underwater area, makes a lot of sense.
And then the most important thing in the patch, a mini aetherite has been added to the Sapphire Avenue Exchange.
About time.
Yay!
That's the most important one ever.
I still don't have all the ones in Gridania or Limsa yet.
Yep.
So
And we
Seriously?
yeah, seriously,
well, it is his alt. It is his
not
alt.
even on my main.
Chili,
I don't understand.
you're a
Shame.
bad, and you should feel
Shame.
bad. And then
I also
they
don't have the housing warps yet.
upped the experience reward for unlocking maps.
Do note that's only for 2.x, so just for Realm Reborn areas.
Yes.
So that seems a bit more like another thing to help out newbies with getting moving along.
Okay, so then we've got a bunch of screenshots of new main scenario quests and NPCs involved in those. It starts at a quest called Beyond the Great Wall. You talk with Alphino in the Rising Stones, and you must finish the main scenario quest, The Far Edge of Fate.
Ooh.
And from there, it's gonna you'll just follow the breadcrumb trail.
There are plenty of them where they note that they are not telling us details in order to avoid spoilers.
Exactly.
I mean, for the next one, it might be location ?
Yes.
Person ? Players must first complete the quest ? At that point, why even bother with the listing?
Yep.
You've got to go to question mark to beat the question mark to do this question mark.
Yo, dog, I
Oh,
heard you like
boy.
question marks.
Let's see, more side quests as well.
Yes. That's a duh.
Oh my god, I'm shocked! Shocked!
Let's see, NPCs associated with the quest can't do it without you, and true you haven't changed. Those are the ones involving the Mikote tribe in southern Thanalan
Than,
out near the
correct.
desert.
Correct.
So I'm guessing that's like a lore tweak.
All right.
Interesting then.
So
Otherwise, there's not really a whole lot of need to change it, but if they need to keep something internally consistent with the lore, then that's the main reason they would change that sort of thing.
yes. New job quests have been added for the new for all the classes. We got the Paladin starts in Ul'dah for their level 60 plus quests. Warrior goes to Curious Gorge again in Eastern Lenosha.
It looks like it's starting out with the standard trainers as before.
Yep.
Yeah, the original job trainers.
Well, Dark Knight is going to Sidurugu.
Yeah, that's the quest from level 50 to 60 are with Sidurgu.
Okay, see, I
So,
didn't
yeah.
do that. So I thought it was always Frey. So
It's Frey for the first set. It's Sidurgu after that. It's
Okay.
an interesting story.
um,
But yeah, it does look like it's going to be the standard job trainers for this. Nothing complicated there.
yep. And then let's look at the new jobs.
They get into that much further down, so we'll be
Okay.
coming along to that.
All right. So just go and find your where you left off on your level 60 job quest, and you'll find them there.
Now,
Sounds like Paladin is going to have a tournament for its job levels, which will be quite cool.
Interesting.
Yeah, the names do give some suggestion as to what we're going to be seeing happening next. They do note that the secondary class requirement for unlocking jobs has been removed. For instance, Paladins, they needed to have Gladiator to 30, but originally also needed Conjurer to 15. But because of all the other revisions they made to the battle system, cross-class skills becoming role skills, all of that, you no longer need to have that secondary class requirement.
All right. And it looks like they've added new quests for your Disciples of Hand and Land as well. And you'll talk with your guild masters for that as well. All in the same locations, blah, blah, blah. I still, I still haven't done all of those. I've got all my crafters and gatherers up to 60, but I don't think I did all the quests.
You should totally do the quests.
Shame.
They're fun stories.
Yeah, I was working on Culinarian, but I got bored.
How can you get bored of the culinary? It's amazing.
It was, but I got bored of finding the stuff, gathering the stuff, and making the stuff.
All
It's
right,
called the market board.
I have already noticed one thing that makes me mildly annoyed. First Astrologian job quest, East meets West. First Weaver quest, when East meets West. Come on, guys.
Original.
When West meets Est, I mean, maybe they're going to go west to east.
When
I mean, if they did-
East meets West.
Or if they did when Yeast meets West, then it could be a Culinarian one.
Well, the
When
Culinarian
Feast
one
meets
is...
East.
Unfortunately, it's Flavors of the Far East. I liked when Yeast meets West better.
Yeah. More than a few of the quest names do reference stuff involving the East, so it's bringing up a lot of the, hey, this stuff is going to be taking us into the new lands. They always need to find some reason to start bringing it over.
Also, I need to address the chat. Cookie Nurse, yes, my pimp hat is awesome. It will be amazing once I get that unlocked. And yeah, you can't shame me for that.
So let's see. They note that for Realm Reborn and Heavensward quests, because of the addition of new jobs, the rewards for main scenario and job quests have been adjusted, and the XP awarded for completing them has been increased.
Yes, and Moogle Beast Tribe quests for the 3.x series have been significantly reduced for job levels at 60 or higher.
It's the same thing as with From Realm Reborn to Heavensward. They don't want you to say, oh, I'm going to ignore all of this new expansion content and just spam the old thing to get myself a bunch of levels. If you want to actually get XP at any kind of reasonable pace, you're going to have to go for new content. That said, I have an alt that I had at White Mage 50 all the way back from 1.0 days that has still not been through the main scenario, but I did get him to level 55 solely on quests for yokai or yokai watch fades.
Ew.
I don't recommend this. It's not a good idea.
I miss Yokai Watch. At least it's better than the Garo then. Stupid Garo.
You're bad, Chili.
Give me
No
Yokai
one-
Watch bait grinding.
No,
So
no
this
one misses
next-
Yokai Watch.
This next section has some stuff I think is really interesting.
The guild leaves?
Yeah.
Please note that Battlecraft leaves are not available in the new areas introduced in patch 4.0.
Now, that doesn't mean that there won't be Battlecraft leaves later on.
Well,
but...
there are trade and fieldcraft leaves that have been added, however.
Right.
Curses, I just remembered I was saving my leaves for that. You caught me this time, Square Enix.
No, you can level up your crafters and gatherers. You just can't level up your battle classes. They want you to go through the main scenario and side quests for those.
Yeah, it's not completely precluding, but I could see that as, we want you to actually go through the quest for doing the leveling. At least for that first job.
Yep.
Curse you.
And they have the same thing as when you're playing as a class over level 60, your leave rewards for leaves under 60 will be reduced. Same deal. Actually do the new content if you want to level.
What if that counts if you're actually 60 though? You know, or if it's 60 or above. So is it? Do you get the XP? Less XP at 61.
So I remember.
60.
Well, remember that there is nothing for 60.
Heavensward. Yeah, I remember for Heavensward, if you had a class at level 50 and you were doing the level 45 leaves, then those had a precipitous drop off.
Okay.
Such big words.
It's a good word.
So for 2.x and 3.x, experience awarded upon completing botanist and minor fieldcraft leaves has been increased, but in 2.x, the locations of gathering points for botanist guild leaf maple stories has been adjusted.
I'm guessing that's they're putting it. So it's a leave where you're retrieving maple sap, and I'm guessing they put the gathering points around where the maple sap shows up on other things.
Hopefully. New fates. Experience point bonus fates are going to be appearing. We saw that mentioned in one of the live letters, so that's going to be really cool. So they're going to get people out there doing fates and getting XP for that. From the picture, it looks like they're introducing Ixion, which is very nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't know who all
He's so
played
cute.
in like 11 and tried to find Ixion and Dark Ixion.
And then they also have that new twist of fate.
Sorry, I haven't gotten down that far yet.
So
Special
that's an
enemies
interesting
may appear over the course of any given fate. By defeating this enemy, all players who participate in the fate receive a rating will be granted a Twist of Fate status. Players under the effect of Twist of Fate status will receive increased XP awards upon completing the fate. Interesting.
And it says dramatic.
That's yeah.
Yeah. So it seems like you have extra enemies that may show up for some reason or another. The reasons for it may be important to what's going on in those areas.
What a twist!
If you do go take a moment to actually make sure they get killed, then you get a big boost. Again, even if a fate is failed, if you are able to take out this enemy, you can at least get good XP out of it, it sounds like.
And now I shall spawn for no real raisins.
Nope, no raisins? Well, nobody wants raisins.
Oh my god.
The 2.x fates difficulty have been adjusted. Changes to difficulty based on the previous number of participants will now affect all fates in the nearby area rather than just individual fates. That's smart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it is.
A lot of these are going to make it easier for people who are trying to catch up or trying to get old rewards, so like from areas that others aren't going to very much.
I like this one. Sorry,
Yeah.
go ahead. This next one.
No, go ahead.
Certain large-scale fates will no longer require level sync. We're looking at you,
Come
Odin.
on,
Awesome.
cancer.
I don't know. Maybe they'll include that one, but I'm thinking more like Odin, Behemoth, Coral Regina, Proto Ultima.
I wonder if Special Tarask Force will be in there. It was so hard to get people to participate in that when I was trying to get a Fat Chocobo Triple Triad card.
Very possible. And the time limit has been increased from 15 to 30 minutes for Long Live the Curl and Curls Chase Boys. Again, Coral Regina fates.
Curls Chase Boys Chase Curls has not been adjusted, but I think that was already at 30 minutes.
I believe so.
Why the hell do I remember that title?
Ooh, new map. New treasure maps being added. Gagana Skin.
I would go with Gagana Skin.
And
Gagana Skin.
Gazelle Skin treasure maps have been added for 4.x areas.
Gazelles. Oh my goodness.
3.x Aquapolis will be synced to level 60. I wonder what eye level.
Once, whatever it is right now.
You think it'll be 180?
I don't think they'll increase the level just so you can't go in at like over 60.
Yeah, it'll probably sink down like for instance with the level 50 stuff, it was synced down to whatever the highest eye level you could get at level 50.
That'll actually make it
I'm
real
guessing
easy to duo Aquapolis in old areas then.
No, I think it will stay at the same level it is right now, but it's so you don't think you can go in at 61 and just avoid the level 60.
I mean, that makes sense, but I mean, like I said, it would be nice if they make it easier though, still.
I'm guessing it is going to be something that makes it a bit easier, just
Well,
because
it's
again,
already
it's older
pretty
content.
easy right now. Is the thing.
You still need at least 3 people. If you go in with, I mean, if you have
Well, not 3 people.
if you have 2 really, really good people, you can do it, but you can't solo it.
The thing is, though, by having it, I don't know. I disagree in a way because yes, it'd be nice to be able to solo it, but the best part about maps is the fact that you all bring your own map, and therefore it's a group thing, not just a solo thing.
No,
I
I agree, but sometimes it'd be nice. Okay, I'm sitting on 11 Dragonskin maps right now. I would like to be able to burn through those real quick when Stormblood starts.
Yeah, like I know what's nice and ideal and all that, but if you have trouble getting the people together, sometimes you just want to get it done rather than go for the ideal situation.
Exactly. And maybe you just want to get all the loot. Who knows? And emotes used in the Aquapolis immediately before the gate selection will no longer be canceled. Like it was when it first started.
Well, why was that even a big deal?
Well, because people would we would spam dance emotes to try and trigger RNGesus to love us.
And I guess now it'll show you dancing, and then show RNGesus cruelly denying you.
And then
or
people go,
Yatta! It's always going to be Rainbow Jesus to me.
Rainbow RNGesus?
Yeah, Rainbow RNGesus.
I'm really interested to try the new 4.0 version of the Aquapolis, though.
Yeah, that's going to be really interesting.
I forget what they called it, but it's like something of
the canals or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it may not be out quite yet. They haven't mentioned it, though this is the preliminary.
4 weeks after launch. So
it'll be,
when 4.05, it's coming out the same time as Omega Savage.
Mm-hmm.
They showed that.
I wonder if that's when they're going to do the housing.
Probably, or maybe wait till 4.07. They're probably going to wait till 4.07.
4.1.
We'll see. We will see. They did not say that at all during the E3 conference. Grand and free companies for 2.x and 4.x, additional items will now be accepted for supply and provisioning missions as well as expert delivery missions. Nice. So
the 4.x element is probably the newly crafted items, the stuff for the 60 to 70 range.
Maybe dungeon gear.
Yeah. I'm guessing the 2.x element is the expert delivery missions. Either that or they're adding 2.x items for the people who again are leveling up to give them some easier items to make.
No, they're going to allow you to
do that for 3.
I think they're going to allow you to turn in the reason it says 2.x is because it's all in 2.x areas. Like it's in Limsa, it's in Ul'dah, it's in Gridania. You'll probably be able to turn in like your Diabolic gear, your Alexandrian gear, your Creator gear, all that stuff. Your Shire gear.
Maybe. Why wouldn't they mention 3.x on that?
Because you don't turn anything in a 3.x area.
But the items come from those areas, which would go under the expert delivery.
But they're talking about the area you're actually in.
I am not sure I agree with your interpretation.
Because otherwise, why would they say 4.0?
Besides, there's an even more awesome thing coming up.
New craftable items have been added to the company workshop, and they show the picture of the carbuncle house, which I will probably use to turn my house into a carbuncle house.
That is not a carbuncle house. That is a library house. Check out the books. Check out the Arcanist theme. The carbuncles are an offshoot of that, but that is a book house.
I mean, it's not a house.
It's an Arcanist. It's an Arcanist house.
Like you could totally use this to make a little library.
I'm definitely going to be building the mansion version of this for when we upgrade our house.
When you move to Kugane?
That's going to look ridiculous.
I mean, it's no Parissa house, though.
You mean Paisa? You mean the evil soulless house that sucks in your being to live?
Paisa house will be missed.
No, it won't. Death to the Paisa house.
You're horrible. You're mean.
We don't have a soul. They can't suck it out.
That's true.
They've got a couple changes to company crafting. Normally, when you're turning items for projects, you get experience points for it, but players who are level 60 or higher won't be able to get experience points for the lower level materials. That seems like no, seriously, you can't use old content for leveling.
Yeah, and I applaud them for that. And then the level of the following items when contributing to company crafting has been increased from 59 to 60. Yeah. So when you do the superior inks. Yep.
It's just a related thing.
So you will get experience for those. Free company chest is available at Ralgar's Reach in Kugane.
Pretty cool.
So Ralgar's Reach as a player area hangout confirmed.
By the way, guys, before we carry on, I just realized, remember with Heavensward, the level 50 dungeons didn't even give XP. So good they didn't do that again.
Well, actually, don't you get XP now from 50 when you go up?
You do now, but they patched in like 4.1. And you
mean 3.1?
3.1, yeah.
Okay.
when Heavensward launched, you didn't get any XP from the level 50 dungeons.
Yeah, so I think they're gonna probably push people along the whole storyline route.
Well, no, Stormblood gives you XP. I'm just saying it's nice that they've actually added the XP to the 60 dungeons like the last time.
Where does it say that?
Yep. It's coming up. Someone's reading ahead.
Yeah.
Jeez, Chili, knock it off! I'm trying to do this blind.
We'll get
Sorry,
to
I'm
it
just
soon enough.
us talking about dungeons made me think about it.
Yeah,
Samurai
we'll
and
get
Red
to it soon
Mage
enough.
symbol options have been added to company crests, so I can now change it from a Phoenix to a Red Mage. No, I'm gonna leave it as the Phoenix.
I
like
object to this.
I also object, and I'm not even part of the free company.
You can move your alts to my free company if you want.
Oh, by the way, I'm going to buy it. Well, I'll bring this up later.
Okay.
And this one was just a little, I think, bookkeeping touch. The automatic transfer of the master rank. Pretty much, if the if the head of a free company, it does not log in for 35 days or more, it automatically transfers to someone else. So you don't have a free company that ends up where all the stuff is like. I'm good with words today.
Yeah.
It's a thing to keep a free company from stagnating if the leader's gone, but there's still members around. But that's never something that's actually mentioned in game. It's something that was discussed in patch notes, but there's nothing to actually tell players about it. Newer players might not even know that this is a feature.
So now they know.
Yep.
So the housing area has been added in Shirogane. However, you cannot buy a house yet.
No.
You can look at how pretty it is.
Okay, and in order to get there, you have to be level 61.
I'm cool with that. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Now, I assume Actually, I wonder how that's going to work. If, say, you join a free company, you're a relatively new player, and they have it in Shirogane, are you just not going to be able to teleport to the house?
No, you still can. That is allowed.
It's only level 61 right now for people to have a look around. I'm sure once it actually gets...
Actually, not even that. It's level 61 to do the quest that lets you teleport to the residential district via the Ethernet in Kugane.
Correct. That's how you get there now. Once housing opens there and you can buy plots, at that point, anybody within your free company or that you give access to if you have a personal house can then teleport.
It does note that if you end up in Shirogane before you complete certain main scenario quests, I'm guessing the ones where your character would have access to it, that the gates will be closed and you'll be unable to leave.
Correct.
And so you'll need to teleport out.
If you have a friend who joined you at the beginning of the game, they did not buy a jump potion, they will not be able to leave via the gate until they get up to the point where they can enter and leave. Like I said, they'll have to port back to where an area that's allowed.
It's a way to keep someone from being like, oh, hey, I just got into Heavensward. You know what? I want to see the Shirogane place, getting over there and then walking out the gate.
Hell, you don't even need to do that. Oh, look, I've just bought a Realm Reborn. Oh, my mate's in that free company. I'll teleport to them.
Right. But the point is, no cheap routes to Shirogane for you.
Yep. The sale of plots and apartments will begin at a future date. Furnishings have doubled. Private chambers and apartments going from 50 to 100 inside. Cottages 100 to 200. So my personal house can now have 200 items. House mid-size can go from 150 to 300. And mansions 200 to 400.
Now,
thank you for your sacrifice, PS3 users.
Woo. Now, if you have 40 or more interactive furnishings, these are furnishings that you like, lamps that you turn on, other things that you activate or mess with, only the 40 closest will be displayed. If you have that many interactive furnishings in one area, I seriously question your design choices.
It's all just paisa. It's all just paisas.
Yes, the dancing paisas.
Dancing paisas and disco lights.
Okay, I don't question that design choice, but the other ones I do. Plenty of new furnishings, a lot of Eastern style stuff. We do see a lot of those traditional trees, the outdoor umbrellas. Oh, there is a neat little sushi set. I'm going to have fun making that as a culinarian.
Ooh,
that looks cute.
The table orchestrion.
Ah, yes.
That is adorbs.
For people who like orchestrions but do not want the big bulky jukebox.
Or they want to just sit next to their table and just snap their fingers listening to the radio.
I'm wondering what that potion looking thing to the left of it is.
The elixir of redness. It's just there for decoration.
Automatic red mage.
Yes.
Furnishing
Ketchup.
created by an alchemist.
Ooh, the paint.
Insta-red.
Ketchup.
They added an
Oh.
easel. That's
Yep.
cool.
Yeah.
Hey, you could have you could turn your apartment into your atelier. Is that how you pronounce that word?
Sure.
Awesome.
Mounted flower vases on the walls.
Very cool.
A new level 70 Garabanian striking dummy, with very neat looking. We saw that in the live letter.
Mm-hmm.
Yoshi was smacking on that.
Looks like you can put one of those in your yard.
Yep. New orchestrion
It's not
rolls.
replaceable.
It's not replaceable?
No, I'm not replacing my Faust.
Oh.
I don't care what it looks like.
Gotcha.
That's
I'm
fair.
replacing my Faust.
New aquarium fishes. New aquarium interiors. So that's kind of
I
cool.
really
fish.
like that.
Yep.
Puffer fish.
I kind that kind of bamboo
Now,
fence is interesting looking.
One
A
thing to
little
note
stone.
is that the new aquarium fishes are 2x, 3x, and 4x. So you'll be having fish that you can get from all over, not just new areas, I should think.
Yep.
They have said that they want to continue to add the older world fish as well. There's a number of them that I think would look rather splendid in an aquarium.
New paintings with certain requirements needing to be met before you can obtain them.
Sightseeing log.
Spoilers!
Sorry, I missed that. What do we need to do?
Sightseeing log.
Spoilers!
I'm sorry, I still missed that.
The seeing of sight log.
Sightseeing log.
No, I understood Chili. I don't understand.
That's a pretty normal state of affairs.
Ooh, plants that are ready to harvest from garden patches will no longer wither.
Yay! So now that when there's emergency maintenance, you're not going to kill your plants.
That's nice.
Exactly.
That's nice. Crafting facility furnishings can now be used by crafting classes up to level 60. Very nice.
It used to be
Yes.
up to, was it level 40 or level 50 before?
Level 40, and then it got boosted to 50.
Yep. So the
So,
last 10
another
levels you
kind
of
have to do
30.
yourself.
30, wasn't it? 30
No, it
and
was
then 50.
it was 40.
Okay.
But yeah, it's another catch-up mechanic.
Yep. And then you go to the Moogles from 50 to 6 or yeah. So anyway,
No.
display of indoor furnishings and outdoor furnishing windows has been adjusted.
It
I
looks
like
like
this.
they're grouping
I
them
like
all by
this.
category with really nice buttons.
It's
So that's
like-
going to make
it's
it a lot
so
easier to
happy.
keep track of what you're doing.
With doubling what you can put in your house, you need it.
hmm
And if you're looking for a specific thing in the list, it's nice to be able to say, okay, I want to look at all my wall-mounted stuff. Now I want to look at all the
Well,
tables. Now I want to
just
look at
Look, Klaus, look in the corner. There's a search.
and the search.
function.
And the search is nice as well.
That
Oh,
makes it so much easier.
And they've
like-
added some new items, both stuff you can exchange for the crops you're growing, as well as inventory that your NPCs are selling.
All right, and then they talk about the gold saucer, the new weapons that you can purchase.
Which
New,
look amazing.
I still don't like them.
I don't
I
know.
like
I
the
kind of
weapon.
like some of them. Like the bow is kind of cute with the star on the end instead of the point.
Only if it
I
goes.
kinda
The
like that
astrologian is
staff.
probably my favorite.
I want them to play the gold saucer theme when you have it out. Then
Oh my god!
I want them to play the Gold Saucer theme for your entire party and not allow them to shut off their speakers.
yes, and
I want it to play the theme every time you do an auto attack.
Just like restarting the theme.
Oh my god! And then when you LB, it just goes. Da-da-na-na-na-na-na-na.
And then you win a mini cactus pot.
Yeah.
funga.
Thank you.
Oh my god, imagine if Legend Limit Break into just like money shooting out from the enemy instead.
Triple triad cards have been added from all different areas, 2, 3, and 4X areas. New
The new
opponents.
areas. Yeah.
Players can now engage in triple triad matches in the new areas. And
cool.
a new sightseeing log for Stormblood areas.
Messiah.
Looks like 45 for Stormblood? Or is that just talking about that page?
Yeah.
45 for Stormblood.
Yeah. It tracks the ones for each area, for each expansion separately for reasons.
Gotcha.
And I've heard that they've decided they're going to put harder ones in the future, in a future patch. I can't remember which patch it was, they said.
They certainly expanded the Heavensward one later on, so.
New spearfishing challenge log has been added.
Yay! This is the only reason why I want to level fishing.
The reward for the following challenges has been changed to wolf marks. A wolf in your belly, thrown to the wolves, line up, and in the line of fire.
Previously, it was, I believe, some amount of wolf marks and some amount of PvP experience, but I believe PvP experience has been abolished.
Yes. Time remaining to complete objectives before weekly reset will now be displayed. In accordance with this change, the time remaining will no longer display in the timer's window.
So pretty much they've just removed the little time remaining thing to a place that's more useful. I actually have my challenge log as a thing on one of my sidebars, so I don't bring up the timers for it nearly as often.
Okay. Wondrous Tales has been adjusted upon reaching level...
You skipped one important bit of the challenge log. Because the level cap's gone up, the experience points you get from completing those challenge log objectives has been increased.
Oh, yes, thank you.
So it will continue to be worthwhile to do your challenge log to get that old stuff boosted.
So yes, use the challenge log, people. Then going back to Wondrous Tales, an additional column of optional rewards will be added when you reach level 70. And the objectives available will change. The aforementioned changes will not affect a Wondrous Tales in your possession prior to attaining level 70. So once you ding to cap, finish your book, get a new one.
Now, when they say
this week,
they say additional column, I believe that means you'll be able to choose from 3 different rewards at each level rather than 2.
Probably.
Well, columns, so.
2.x area players can now view a weather forecast for new areas. So if you're looking at a weather spotter, you can now see what it's like in Shirogane. Even if you can't go there, apparently. You can swim in certain 2x and 4x areas, but not in 3x areas.
Yeah, well, I mean, we can see someone having some fun off the coast of Costa del Sol, but where would you swim in 3x?
Corpus, ice swimming.
Oh, God.
No.
Well, there is the little bit in the Dravanian Forelands. You could swim in the river.
Well, as long as we're doing that, why don't we just say you can swim in the etherochemical pools of Azazlaw?
Woo!
Yay!
Don't do that. No.
That's how we got Lalafels. Though there is no diving in 2.x, it's only in 4.x areas.
Really?
Still.
Yes, they announced that before.
We've also added more islands in Corpus to swim to now.
You mean in
Oh, no, not
Costa?
Corpus, I mean Costa.
Yes, that was actually really neat looking. Go explore the Corthan Islands.
I mean, I guess Sea of Clouds, maybe.
All right. The travel speed of mounts on the ground can now be enhanced. You have to. It looks like the first level you get by beating Heavensward, if I understand correctly.
Yeah.
So it actually depends on the first level expands for areas. You have various main scenario quests. So, for instance, once you finish some of the stuff in Mordona, you'll get the enhancement in Mordona. Pretty much you have to adventure for a little while in each area, and at the end of that MSQ chain, you'll get it for that area.
So if you already did it, you automatically get it?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
Someone who has completed Heavensward, it looks like will have that first speed enhancement unlocked for pretty much all Realm Reborn and Heavensward areas.
Yep, because in order to get to that point, you have to have beaten Brotherly Love, highly recommended, Power Deduction, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
So all these quests that they list in that are main scenario quests?
Yep. Bolt Chain and Island is the one where you're making the plan to capture Bismarck, or to defeat Bismarck, for instance. And once you finish that, you get the increased movement speed in the Sea of Clouds.
Nice.
I'm calling it that you have to beat Stormblood to get the second.
The second enhancement is Other Means, and that's just 2.0 and 3.0 areas.
Yes. Flying mounts have been adjusted as follows. The height at which certain mounts float when on the ground has been adjusted. When interacting with an NPC or object while riding a flying mount, players will dismount automatically when hovering below a certain height.
Oh, thank God.
You don't have to dismount
nice.
before you talk to somebody, which is cool.
Well, I mean, you dismount automatically. What it was that you had to land fully on the ground. I know a number of times I would swoop in, thought I had made contact with the ground and so would be able to get off, and then told me that, nope, you can't do that.
Yeah,
and
you
now,
like to get off, don't you?
Well, who doesn't?
New hairstyles have been
Moving
added. So you get the Derplander monk hairstyle, and then a really odd one. Maybe some more than
No, actually,
Yoshi.
That's Yoshi P.
Is that?
Yeah, yes, Yoshi. Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
I think it looks weird because of the face.
You look weird because of the face.
Well,
I'm going to tell Yoshi P you said his face is weird.
no, that's not Yoshi P's face. That's the thing.
Too late. I've already misinterpreted your words.
I'm assuming we get more than just 2 hairstyles.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I would assume so.
The appearance of certain hairstyles has been adjusted to appear more natural when diving, so a little more flowy.
I appreciate those little touches.
You
Yes.
mean my fro won't be a fro?
Oh my
imagine
god.
I imagine it's more they've done some stuff like ponytails or other things where there's longer flowing hair.
This is gonna make Pete so upset from She Heals, I think.
His fro is gonna go even
No more
flowier
fro.
once he.
It's gonna go.
No, but once he
Well,
gets
I think
out of
this
the
goes
water,
more
he shakes
froey.
his head and it'll go more froey.
There's gonna be like a.
Expands.
Luna's got a new ERP emote that she gets.
Yes. Now we can legit kiss, not just ERP kiss.
The kissy face.
And floating.
And then the floaty.
It's called /pucker up. Thank you. I'm serious. That's what they're calling it.
Nice.
That is amazing. I can't wait to spam it as my.
I mean, yeah, you're just kind of standing there, and there may not even be anyone around to kiss, so you're just puckering up your lips.
And if
You
you
just
sit
stand against the wall.
Alternate command /duckface.
the height of the camera when certain races use sit has been adjusted, as well as if
Thank
you use
God.
sit or doze when entering before entering an instance, you'll appear in the same position when you exit.
When you
Thank
exit.
Wait, I can,
God.
wait. No, play dead doesn't work. That would be amazing if my Lalafell just spawned in with his bite in the air.
He will.
Yay!
I would bet that would be one that would.
Well, they didn't specifically call it out, at least.
I'm hoping that they're including more of the persistent emotes as well.
If not, just let them know. I'm sure they'll look at adding it. I can't imagine it's that difficult.
It would probably have to be similar to the way the sit works in that case.
So let's see. They did add the little bit that shows which emotes you can use under which conditions appears to have swimming and diving included now.
Yes.
You can Horsafon underwater.
Woo! And on Chocobo.
Yeah.
Well, you already could on Chocobo.
And sitting
Yeah.
down.
I didn't realize that. All right, battle system changes. So the level cap has gone to 70, or will.
Dad,
Oh my God,
really?
Did anyone know that?
I know it's amazing, isn't it?
Oh my God.
Samurai and
We're
Red Mage
such-
jobs have been
We're
added.
smart asses.
Okay, that little Lalafell daimyo with the top knot is kind of amazing.
That's kind of scary.
Yeah, I was thinking about it being Red Mage first, just to try it out. Because my friends
both,
wanted to do Palace of Dead, but without Samurai Lalafell, I have to go Samurai.
both jobs appear to be unlocked in Ul'dah.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, way the Samurai, you speak to Ul'dan Citizen, and Red Mage, you speak to Distraught Lass.
They also say for more details to please refer to the Final Fantasy XIV job guide, which is scheduled to release in 17 minutes.
Yes, very soon. So,
Ooh, thank you.
I'll skim that as soon as it comes up.
all right. New job actions have been added. Then they have the job actions trailer. If you guys want to check out that, you can go to their YouTube page, or if you're following along, you can click on that later. Again, check out the job guide, scheduled for release very soon. Mug no longer increases the number of items dropped by enemies in dungeons.
Boo.
So why
Boo.
have it? Why
I
have
believe
it?
I believe for the ninja it increases their Kenki gauge rather a lot. Or which
Kenki-
Their mudra.
Which one?
Or it would be the
Whichever gauge it is.
the Ninki Nanka? Just kidding.
The Kinky Gauge.
No, that
Because
I can't remember what the hell the thing's
the
called.
Kenki gauge is for the samurai.
Samurai.
No, I thought the Kinky Gauge was the Ninja's auto attack one.
No.
I can't remember which is which, but it's the ninja gauge. Mug increases it.
Okay. Effective sword oats now ends upon logging out.
And they're going to revert that into future updates, so I'm guessing this
That
is
was
like a
just a
server
glitch.
load thing.
Yeah.
Interesting. Substantial revisions have been made to the battle system.
Oh my God, they didn't tell us anything about this happening. They should have warned us.
Moreover, due to these adjustments, Disciples of War and Magic can no longer set actions from Disciples of the Land as addition. But when I'm going around on Warrior, I like to have Triangulate up just in case I happen to pass by nodes.
Exactly.
What if I wanted stealth?
Sprint animation when a weapon is drawn has been adjusted.
That's really cool.
So we get individual sprint animations.
for certain classes and jobs.
This
Gamer
next
Escape-
one.
I'm assuming they
next one.
mean
Yeah.
the battle classes and jobs.
Yeah, Gamer Escape actually posted a video of some of them, and a lot of the new ones actually look really cool. That's another stylistic one, but it's one I appreciate.
Yep. This next one,
I like the machine.
rip attribute points.
All I can think about is my picture that I posted like a week ago on Twitter, and it's me leveling my what was I leveling? I think it was my paladin. And I'm like, I'm good at leveling, and here it says like I have like 27 unused attribute points.
Did you put them all on strength?
No,
Yeah, no, she put them all
doesn't
on
matter now.
on piety.
it
I wonder
doesn't
what
matter now.
I wonder if they'll let me trade in my Keeper's Hymns. I had like a few left over from one.
I've got like 40 of them.
Why did you buy that many?
Why?
Because I was going to be leveling up Arcanist and swap, then going back and forth, but between Summoner and Scholar.
You might actually get anyway. There's no point. You might as well just
And that,
go
well,
15-15.
but also at the time, I had nothing else to buy with seals.
Now, this next change I actually really, really like.
Ooh, the weakness and brink of death status ailments have been adjusted as follows.
I can summarize on this one. They
Ouch.
cut the duration. They cut the duration from 2 minutes to 100 seconds, so cut 20 seconds off. It used to be that all of your attributes were reduced by 15% or 30%. Now, your strength, dexterity, intelligence, and mind are reduced by 25% or 50%. So those are reduced much more.
So you don't lose
Important
hit
thing
points.
to note, yeah, your vitality does not go down. So this will help a little bit with the problem of once you die once, it is much easier to die again.
And
You know what?
your MP won't go down either.
Yeah. On the other hand, it is going to much more hamper your ability to deal damage. So you really do want to avoid it. But if something unfortunate it does happen.
You know
If
what
This
I'm
is
calling by guys?
basically, yeah, this is basically Square Enix saying get good.
Question.
Guys,
But at the same time, not punishing you as much by saying once you die once, we're going to make it easier for you to die again and again and again.
Yeah. Chili, go ahead.
guys, you know what I'm calling? This is why tanks changed from bit to strength, because otherwise they'd be the only ones to be not affected by a weakness.
Yep.
Yeah.
Makes sense. But now here's the question that I have: is the reduction of your points going to be based off of your base strength, dex, int, and mind, or is it going to be based off of what you have plus gear?
Plus what you
Almost
have in
certainly
gear.
plus gear. Otherwise, it would be meaningless.
Not necessarily. I suppose.
Strip naked and tell me what your stats are.
Yeah. You're
Just
right.
And then do it
naked.
again and tell me how it looks.
69, 69, 69.
Oh, yeah.
Giggity.
Anyways, a whole bunch of adjustments to player attributes.
Yep. Do we want to read through them all?
TLDR.
I'll summarize.
Okay.
Tanks have their attack power changed around a bit, as mentioned. If vitality is their main thing for that, then that gives them an unfair advantage. Healers have their magic attack power changed. I believe that's the change they talked about, using mind to power their attack spells. Parries become tenacity, an attribute for tanks that increases their damage dealt, lowers the damage they take, and increases their hit point restoration.
I'm really looking forward to see how much that weighs in, whether it'd be worth melding tenacity over other stats.
Accuracy hasn't changed to direct hit, which is that mini crit hit that we talked about. Piety is no longer a main attribute.
And
It's now a
only
secondary-
applicable to healers.
Yep, it's a secondary attribute that healers use that affects their maximum MP. I know
My
my
paladin MP.
FC leader is going to be a bit disappointed about this because he had all sorts of shenanigans for his black mage that involved increasing their piety to squeeze in one extra fire 3 or fire 4.
Piety no longer grants as a party bonus.
Which makes sense if it's no longer a main attribute.
Ooh, skill speed now affects auto attacks.
Yep. Determination is a bit stronger. The base potency modifier, so like the base increase that you get for a critical hit, has been reduced a bit.
I suppose that's to kind of balance all the substats.
Well,
Yeah.
no, it's to balance crit, because you can direct hit crit, which will probably do as much as crit does now.
So it's saying if you want to crit, you need to actually devote stuff to it.
Yeah.
Blocks and parries are no
blocks and
longer limited to attacks from the front, and block also applies to magic damage.
Too bad Horsefall didn't have that.
Too soon.
All I know is that block makes me happy because with that new passage of arms, I've already found a way I think that you can exploit it in a way.
Oh God.
Because it defends everyone that's behind you.
Right.
When you're tanking the boss, just stand in front of it and turn around.
Huh.
Then the people at the flank don't have to move away.
Well, it says it's not. Yeah, I mean that's certainly a possibility, but it is still going to be a cone behind you, so it may not actually get everyone.
Yeah, but if you got mostly melees, you got dragons, ninjas, and monks or whatever.
Yeah, it'll depend on exactly how big that cone is.
Yeah,
But
and
it could be
because
useful.
you can block from behind, you'll still have the 100% block rate.
Oh, a couple other changes, including one that a friend of mine is very, very excited about. They did change the starting attributes of all races. Not quite sure what was going on there. If there was like some issue with the differences between them.
And then
But
there's a distinction now between detrimental effects that can and cannot be removed. If you can Yasuna it off or erase it, it has a mark over the top of it. Otherwise, it does not.
And a lot of healers, I think, who are worried about like, oh man, they've got these debuffs. Wait, which ones of these are Asunable? They will now have that if you don't see a mark above any, no Asuna is needed.
And the 100% increase in XP gain granted by the armory bonus now applies to all jobs below 60.
It used to be below 50, but again, new expansion helped the newbies catch up.
And then 60 and up, the armory bonus is back to 50%.
Which is how it was for Heavensward and jobs over 50.
Yes. You were saying, Chili?
Yes. About the Asuna thing, I still think that might cause some confusion. In fact, it might cause more confusion, in my opinion. And
How so?
because certain abilities are not, you can remove it, but not with Asuna. So, like Death in Wanderer's Palace, where you have to outcure it to heal it. So some people might think it cannot be removed because there's no white line.
Well, I mean,
I'm talking about really new players.
Yeah. I feel like this is more quality of life for people who know a little bit. Like, you're still going to have to actually learn the mechanics of stuff.
The tooltip here says that effects that cannot be removed via curative items or actions. So it will have a line over the top.
Oh, that's good.
Well, it depends on what they mean by curative actions. I mean, like, curative items would be like eye drops, and then actions would be like Asuna.
Or, there's more than just Asuna. There's Payan. There's, just the healing
Leeches.
ability.
Yeah.
But I think he's talking about stuff like, for instance, where when the gremlins say mean words at you, you can slash comfort to remove it.
Yeah.
Or
Well,
like
take it as a
Doomsky.
learning opportunity.
That's
then.
an action.
I don't think that is quite what is meant in here.
It could. I mean,
Good, but we'll see.
anyways.
New
look forward.
dungeons.
Yes.
Look
That first one, I noticed the Garlean banners hanging there, so I'm kind of curious about that. Oh, and those Magitech lights.
Ooh, I want those for my house.
Yeah, those are actually really cool.
The blue ones in the corner I like.
Yeah.
Then
God, that's so pretty. Screenshots.
It looks like that second screenshot is from the Violet Tides of Shisui.
I think so.
And then there's like that next one is really interesting looking. It kind of is like a coliseum that's being built or something. It's a blitzball arena.
Like you know that bowl that we saw earlier that Sarah commented on? That kind of looks...
We'll have to see what it is.
'Cause, like, for me, I feel like this is something that the Garleans are building in Alamigo, just from a little bit like the style and there's something about the feel.
I can see that too.
Kind of my thought. And then there's a kind of an open dungeon in the
cool.
steppe.
That makes me excited.
That's gorgeous.
That's beautiful.
When completing a level 51 to 59 dungeon or level 61 to 69 dungeon, players will always receive one piece of gear equipable by their current class or job.
Now, notice it doesn't say that the chest drops it. It says the player receives it. This is on dungeons that you're specifically doing for leveling purposes. Notice that level 60 dungeons are not included, for instance.
Yep.
So this is something I think to help make life a little easier for people who are leveling.
Players will not receive gear that is already in their inventory.
Oh my god, guys,
Yeah.
I need you to run Great Google Library with me a bunch of times. I can finish my fucking glamour.
Oh god.
I'll do it. I'll do it with you.
Please
Sir.
look
I
forward
don't
to
mind.
it.
We can
Fuck
unstick
yes.
it, so.
And actually, yes, for Glamour Hunters, put all the various other pieces you have in your inventory, you can force that drop.
Which is
By the way,
very
guys, I like the fact this says current class or job. I'm sorry, but if you're running 51 to 59 content or 61 to 69 content, you should really be in a job.
There's this one guy on our server I should tell you about later.
And then what Chili
yeah,
was talking
I think I
about
know who you're talking about.
earlier, in accordance with the increase in level cap, players can now gain experience in level 60 dungeons and Alliance raid dungeons.
It sounds like they were a little slower to do that with Heavensward, so it's nice that they're doing it out of the gate here.
Yeah, it was like 3.1
Yep.
that they added the XP.
The strength of the Echo granted in Creator Savage has been increased to 20%.
So if you've been meaning to get those rewards, go for it.
Like the mount.
Or just a clear.
All right.
Trials.
We got us a Susano. It's just Susano. It's just Susano. It's not Susano O, even though it totally should be.
I heard Amy pronounce it Susano O in the live letter.
Because that's how it should be said.
Then we will say Susano O.
I'm going to. I don't think I can
Susano.
stop myself.
And
And
then
Lakshmi.
Lakshmi, yes.
She is very pretty.
I actually, because people have been data mining the shit out of it already, I've actually heard the theme for Lakshmi already.
I've read a lot of
Spoilers.
Daemon stuff, but I've tried to avoid
Spoilers.
anything like that.
I like it.
I'll just say
I'll just
that
say that.
one NPR commentator I hear a lot is named Lakshmi Singh. She does actually fairly good reporting, and this is now the mental image I'm going to have of her. So thank you, Square Enix, for making my evening commute a little more interesting.
The Echo will be applied to all trials implemented prior to patch 3.5.
Zevon! Yay!
You
I
better
thought
be
all
able to
trials
skip
had
Sora
Echo
now.
pretty much.
Couple
Eight-
quality of life things for instances. You get HP, MP, and TP restored. You get your statuses removed when you leave. And if a party gets incapacitated, if you get beaten, your MP and TP will be restored to full. So no more needing to wait a few for healer MP to restore.
Yay.
That'll be nice.
Healers adjust.
The above changes apply to
Nope.
the following categories in Duty Finder. Trials, ARR, and Heavensward. Oh, they're linking them all together. Trials, Stormblood. Raids, ARR, and Heavensward. And Raids, Stormblood.
Yep, it's going to be a here's old content, here's Stormblood.
Yes. This also applies to Trials and Raids in the Raid Finder.
All right, Tombstones.
What do you want on your tombstone?
Apparently, aridity and creativity.
The term is verity.
Verity.
You know what? I do what I want.
Which in this case, verity is kind of like truthfulness.
Verily.
I thought it was
Yes,
creation.
similar root.
You know what?
Heritage
I do what I
based.
want, Chili. I do what I want.
Kane Thorbreaker wants a pepperoni micro tombstone.
Yeah, verity as the
Law.
whatever the equivalent was. Was it esoterics was the first one
Law.
in Oh
What
yes.
was-
Law.
So as a law
What?
equivalent.
I
no
am
limit
the
on them.
law.
The law!
So lore
Breaking
and
the
scripture
law.
tombstones, the Heavensward ones, are no longer obtainable. You do get to keep all of your old ones, and you'll be able to change them in for poetics. Stuff that was bought with lore and scripture is now bought using poetics. So stuff that gave you lore and scripture now gives you poetics. Numbers have been adjusted for various things. Pretty much poetics is the old content tombstone. If
So-
you hadn't traded in your esoterics tombstones, I really don't know what you were waiting for, but they're gone now.
Yes. But yeah, but it'd be nice. Poetics are basically the pepperoni pizza of tombstones.
Oh my god, I hate you all.
So, wait a minute. They're saying you can exchange lore and script for poetics?
Yeah,
Yes.
because all items are now poetics items.
Yes.
Huh.
So
My-
I'm
my
hoping we get
brain-
an increase. Like I said, one scripture is going to be like 5 poetics type of thing.
They may
Yeah.
also change the costs on the various items as well.
True. So they might drop the costs instead. So it'll be very, 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 very easy to get gear for your red mage when you hit 60.
Seems like it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Or your samurai. But for me, red mage. I've already got my my level 50 gear. I set
Let's
up
see.
a whole set of augmented ironworks gear.
So they've changed up the duty finder a bit. They've added raid finder to it, so now there's a little option to select regular duty or high end duty.
You said duty.
Yeah. Based
you
on
have
the
a high end
screenshots,
duty.
I'm guessing the pool of tribute is where we fight Susanoo.
Yes.
And emanation is where we fight Lakshmi.
More than likely.
Interesting.
The frontline freelancer option, where you can join frontline as a member of any grand company, is now on by default.
I like how they took out the actual picture and lore segment for Pool of Tribute.
Mm-hmm.
No spoiler.
Yep. The name is enough. They are changing it so duty finder settings will be carried over when you start for. I know that's so nice where I say was doing unsynced runs, start making a party, and because I start forming a new party, it resets all of those. So having it so it'll just carry that over. It's a tiny little thing, but I appreciate it.
Here's one I like. Item level requirements will no longer be applied when undersized party is enabled. So you can't lock people out of an undersized party.
And you can use undersized party for Heavensward stuff now.
Yay!
Yay!
So
So
we
we
can-
can 70.
We can leave
And
level 70
one
and we can run through Alex Savage and clear all that.
One that I'm sure a fair number of people will be grumpy about. Language settings are now going to be ignored when you're doing matching players for the feast.
So just
Oh,
take
no.
them
I know
out.
the language settings were used as a way for people to game the system and get matched up against specific people to do win trading and the like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Not
raid.
But it makes
Not
sense
cool.
because you can't type in the feast anyway, so.
Yep. The
And
raid.
they've changed up the usual adjustments. Duty roulette has changed exactly which ones are in which. It's now expert level 50
You skipped
slash
one.
60.
You skipped
Oh.
one. The raid
Well,
finder now
and the-
only lists trials and duties introduced with patch 4.0. So it's removing all of the Alexander stuff and all of the extreme primals.
The
Well, there's
raid
only
finder
one
is
one.
for current content.
Yes. The white zone is for unloading and loading of passengers only. There is no parking in the red zone.
Well done. Those. It looks like the duty roulette level of 50 and 60 have been combined into a single one, and I imagine we'll eventually get duty roulette level 70 dungeons once we start getting more level 70 dungeons.
You said duty. Now I'm wondering. I'm wondering. Okay, I want to talk about this a little bit with the duty roulette expert. It's been confirmed that even patches get 2 dungeons, odd patches get 1. Are we going to then add that 1 dungeon to our 2 dungeons, so we have 3 dungeons on the odd patches to run through?
I believe
Probably.
so.
Thank
Yeah.
God.
Because they're saying like it adds one, so they're going to be of the same level. It sounds like.
Will they maybe then also just keep adding the level 71s to the expert roulette? Please, please,
Probably
please.
not.
That would be
Well, I mean,
amazing.
But then
Well,
you
they haven't
have.
got a 70 roulette. Maybe that's why they've got rid of it.
Well, they wouldn't have it yet. The
Yes.
the level 60 and the level 70 are for when you have something that's at that level, but it's no longer the newest stuff, which goes in expert.
He's right, but I mean, it's possible. I'm hoping that expert roulette is going to be everything at level 70.
I'm doubtful.
I can
By the
hope,
way,
can't I? I mean, because if you think about it, if we go to 4.5, that's only going to be 15 dungeons.
Sure.
And that's not that huge of a. It'd be nice to have a larger pool in expert. It's going to make more people want to run it because it's going to be a greater chance of running something different.
But to unlock expert, like if you were a new player who has just finished the 4.0 content and not 4.1 or 4.2, you wouldn't even be able to unlock that duty roulette until you got all the 4.5 stuff done.
Well,
By the way,
but
oh, no, something. You wouldn't be able to do your level 50 or 60 roulette without buying Heavensward either.
But if you buy Stormblood, you have Heavensward already.
Does the level 50 roulette require you to have everything unlocked? or
No,
does
it
just
does
choose from the
not.
one-
And that's what I was going to
Oh,
say, is it's very possible that once you unlock the first 3 dungeons, you get, or even the first 2 dungeons, you get expert roulette.
I'm still doubtful.
But you'll be limited by the dungeons you've unlocked. So your pool will be smaller, but everybody else will be able to pull from a larger pool. But if you pool with somebody else, you'll get, yeah, we'll see.
I still feel like this creates more problems than it solves.
It's a thought.
It is a thought. I'm just mocking it.
Oh, shut up.
All right, moving on.
Moving on.
So anyway, yes, new enemies, some interesting designs. Definitely somewhat. So we've seen a lot of Final Fantasy VI style enemies. I see that Humbaba there. That one that I could never remember, but it always used Blowfish, which was later Thousand Needles on us.
Ooh,
That one
Chili.
in the bottom right, that weird head thing, that was a Final Fantasy VI enemy. It would use Thousand Needles on you.
Chili, look at...
They were just talking about that in my
Oh,
link earlier.
yay! It's another lava scorpion.
Yes, look at the elite marks. We get a lava scorpion.
Yes.
Hey, do you see any lava? Do you even see any magma?
It's his desert friend, deserty scorpion.
Desert scorpion.
Deserty
Desert
scorpion.
But
He
those-
evolves into lava scorpion.
A lot of other interesting looking creatures.
It's super effective. Players
And they're
Super
gonna have-
savage scorpion.
Go ahead, Sarah.
and they're going to have the hunt bills like the ones we had in Heavensward with the various classes of marks, including the elite marks.
And they yield
one
Centurio seals.
Yep. So it seems like they're keeping Centurio seals as a constant thing for that. Clan Centurio, I think, is going to be the elite mark hunting thing going forward.
So are the Heavensward ones going to get dropped down to normal seals then?
It
doesn't say.
The normal seals are allied seals. They're for the Eorzean Alliance, the 3 grand companies. Just from a lore perspective, Centurio seems like the allied seals are because you're taking out these threats to the Eorzean Alliance, to these 3 city-states.
All right.
That's not as much of a concern with the Heavensward and with the Stormblood areas, so I'm guessing it'll be a Centurio thing. See? Lore solves problems.
Okay. But I'm wondering then, are they going to increase the cap for Centurio seals? I hope so. That would be nice.
Yeah. The other alternate is that the stuff from the older areas may just become cheaper.
Luna, can you relink the patch notes again for chat?
Yes, I can.
Johnny, Whitefire, we're going to link those for you here so you can follow along if you would like.
Well, there you go.
I would like to note it is now 7:07 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, and we do not yet have that job guide.
Okay, so you're going to keep watching for that?
Riot,
I
have
didn't
a
even know we had a
riot.
date for it.
All
I
right.
mean, didn't even have time for it.
In order to get...
They,
Go ahead.
they actually do say the patch notes are scheduled to be released in their entirety at 7 p.m. They have not yet been released.
Riot.
Okay, so continuing on here, you'll be able to access these elite and regular hunt marks once you hit level 61 and do the quest 1-star veteran clan hunt.
Yep. And it seems to, again, be in the Heavensward model where as you get at higher levels, you talk to someone, do a thing, and get cleared for these higher level hunts.
Okay. They've expanded Stone Sky Sea into an area called the Circles of Answering for 4.x areas. This requires level 70.
Don't know how to feel about that.
Well, it's the parser, not parser.
Well, yeah, but
Well, I
I-
use
I-
it to pass. It's
I
quite
don't
good.
think it changes anything significantly at this point.
I want to say Stone Sky Sea wasn't available till 60 anyway. Well, it was late introduced content, so... And there was nothing that was used to not parse that was not level 60 related content anyway, so...
Right.
There's a nice little website you can use, seeing Stone Sky with, to work out how much DPS you actually did.
Yep.
Yeah, people have come up with spreadsheets that based on how fast you killed it or how far you got it down, it can give you a DPS estimate.
Yes. So the following additions and adjustments have been made to Palace of the Dead. Any role actions assigned prior to entering Palace of the Dead will be available immediately upon entry. In accordance with this change, players will be unable to access role actions they did not learn prior to entering, even if they meet the level requirements inside Palace of the Dead.
This isn't going to affect people who are past level 50 and have learned all their role actions, but you cannot use if you're using Palace of the Dead, you don't get access to those shared role actions that you haven't already earned.
Until you hit the level outside of the palace.
Right.
Makes sense. But the one thing I don't like about it is the fact that it doesn't give you the opportunity to kind of learn that portion of your job until you've unlocked it outside.
How much are people actually learning their job in Palace of the Dead anyways?
Point taken.
I've actually learned a lot of my jobs in there, so...
Fair enough. You can now do cross-world parties on Palace of the Dead.
Yay.
Which makes me so happy. I can run with you guys now.
Yay.
Yay!
Now, when you're entering, everyone needs to be in the South Shroud, so do keep that in mind.
So within whatever world you're on. So in
Yep.
Ultros, on Excalibur, Hyperion, wherever. But this is only based off of Primal, Aether, Chaos, Mana, and Elemental.
Data Center. They have adjusted the strength of some of the bosses. They've added some new items to the silver and gold stacks. Those are the ones that you get on floors 101 through 200, I believe.
Yes. And they added a sustaining potion, which will grant the effect of sustain, which does what, Sarah?
That's the one I believe that refills your Aegis hit points, which I was told apparently has been taken out for summoners.
Yes,
Like,
sustain has been removed.
Yep.
I'm guessing it grants the effect of sustain on the player, though, not the...
Yeah.
I mean, in that case, why wouldn't it just be like a regen kind of thing?
And they're
Sustain
purchasable.
is specifically the one. Yeah.
I was going to say it's something that's purchased with Gilmore and Potsherd, so it must be something pretty damned important.
Yeah, it costs a pot shot at least.
I'm guessing they've reworked a bit of how the Aegis and the Summoner ones work. I know that Summoner is like the preferred thing for soloing Palace of the Dead, so I'm wondering if they want to make it a little more challenging.
But why would they make a sustaining potion and then have it only work on summoners and scholars? It'd be a bit weird.
It's a totally different. It's a totally reworked system, and then it's just using the name sustain.
Maybe.
Yeah. I'm guessing it adds Regan to your character.
Maybe.
I guess we'll find out.
I'm doubtful.
Well, we'll find out.
We'll
what
never
it does.
find out.
Yeah, never.
We'll
We'll never
never
know.
find out.
The world will never know.
I have 18
And-
pot shards. I will find out.
The Fire Crest and Glass Pumpkin, those are reward items that you get for making it down to level 200.
Yeah.
Yep. So you can purchase them from the South Shroud as well. I'm assuming once you get to that point.
Yeah.
I don't think so, because they should already be there at the end.
But
Once you
But
beat
what
4
you
200, you get to pick one of them from him.
But then you probably
Right.
get to pick the other one, or you'll probably get to buy the other one then.
Also, each item can be made into, I believe, 2 different things, a pair of earrings and a furnishing trophy.
So you can buy it. You probably have to have earned it first before you can buy it. At least I hope.
But
that's
if you really wanted the Fire Crest one and you got stuck with the Glass Pumpkin on multiple runs, I think that's the game saying, you've proven you can do it. Okay, you can have the thing.
Yay. Now PvP. Major changes.
You missed an item.
Changes to classes or jobs outside of sanctuaries will no longer incur a penalty to action cooldowns.
Yay!
So I can now
nice.
get that stupid raise achievement without having to wait for like 2 minutes for a raise to come back.
This is Red Mage, so you can do it anyway.
Yeah, true.
What? No, I mean you know what I'm saying though.
What if you're not on Red Mage?
It's Klaus.
Well,
He's never not going to be on Red Mage.
I will. Well, once until I
Klaus,
hit
let's
Bard,
not lie to ourselves.
I'm gonna start with Bard. Okay.
Liar.
No, I am because I want to get through the storyline.
Smell something. What's that black? What's that black?
Quiet,
black
Joe.
smoke appearing.
Quiet, Joe.
Oh look, your pants are on fire.
I'm not wearing any pants.
Whoa!
Tell me more.
Whoa!
Who is?
I'm wearing shorts. Anyway, substantial revisions have been made to the PvP system. It's undergone a number of significant changes, including adjustments to character attributes, actions, and the introduction of PvP-specific UI elements. Please read below, blah, blah, blah. So, feast...
So
It's fairly
TLDR,
extensive.
we dumbed it down.
Yeah. Yes, Crimson Dreamer pants are overrated.
So they've changed up. They've changed up the naming of the duties in accordance with, I think, the style they want it to be. So instead of 8-on-8 matched party and 4-on-4 solo, it's now training match and ranked match. And I think that gets through that the first one is kind of not like it's something to do PvP with, but it's not something that's like official. While the ranked matches.
Did they get rid of the light party one then? There used to be
yes,
a
they
4 on
actually
4.
removed multiple PvP instances.
You only need to be
They have
level
also
30 to
removed-
do it.
They have also removed party rankings in general.
What?
Keep reading. So, a number of them must become available at level 30. You do need Heavensward if you want to participate in Fields of Glory Shatter.
Okay.
But yes, they removed the Fold Matched Party, the Fold Light Party, Feast 4 on 4 Light Party, and Borderland Ruins Slaughter.
Well, Slaughter
Though
sucked.
Borderland Ruins Secure is still around.
Slaughter sucked. It was terrible.
Yeah.
I hated it. Okay, and then job level 30 of higher to get into. Instances that allow players to change jobs will no longer allow the changing of classes.
Yeah. Your attributes will no longer be level based. They're going to use fixed PvP values. So it becomes a little bit less about who has better gear or is higher level, whatever, and a little bit more about the individual player's
So
skill.
once you hit level 30 with a job, boom, you get the max stats of what you can do with that job.
Yeah. Or the same stats as everyone else.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about it, honestly. I need to play it first.
I mean, there's a lot of interesting stuff here. That morale stat has been removed. The following combat elements do not function in PvP areas: auto attacks, blocks, parries, critical hits, and direct hits.
Wow, so that crit is gone. Well, I suppose there's no need for that anymore, is there?
Yeah, like you're going to be doing purely based on your actions used, but auto attack will not be
actions and combos.
Spells won't be interrupted when you take damage. The damage penalty incurred by ranged DPS due to the ranged DPS who are far from a target, they're not going to have that damage penalty.
Thank God.
Players will gain immunity to stun, heavy, blind, slow, silence, and sleep for a little bit of time after they wear off. So you can't stun lock someone, for instance.
Good.
And in particular, PvE actions are no longer used in PvP areas. Players are going to use a completely separate set of actions that are specially made for PvP.
So once you hit level 30, you get your own PvP stuff. You don't have to worry about learning all that other crap.
Yeah, a lot of it is going to be similar to the action, so you're still going to have a general idea of how stuff works, but it's balanced specifically for PvP.
All right.
That's kind of interesting. Yeah. I'm looking at, for instance, they have the example of the monk one, where there is you can assign a button for a snap punch combo, which specifically does a set of attacks in sequence.
Yeah, boot shine, true strike, and snap punch.
Yeah.
Specifically for that one.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then you can choose up to 2 additional actions on top of the number that you get, and as well as up to 3 traits. And the more released with the full patch notes. Blah, 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 blah.
That Demolish combo must have changed it for PvP, and say that doesn't even work in PvE if that was a combo.
But this is PvP only, Chili.
I must have changed it.
This has nothing to do with PvE.
I'm looking at it in my brain like, oh, that's wrong.
They might be similar named, but they're not the same skill.
All right, let's move through the PvP.
So let's see. PvP specific hotbars so that you don't have to worry about rearranging. This is actually one of the things that kept me from doing PvP as much, knowing that there are specific actions I wanted to be using and having to rearrange my hotbar every time. But now there are PvP specific hotbars, which will be nice enough. They've adjusted hit points and attack powers of various monsters and objects in PvP. They've Borderland Ruins Secure was the only one that was still using the limit break gauge, and that is now using the Adrenaline Rush individual limit break that all the others use.
Ooh, I like this one. Each Adrenaline Rush action now has its own unique icon instead of the limit break icon.
Terminal Velocity. I like that name.
Yep. And you get a PvP specific character when you're in PvP areas.
So you can set your gear and your title there.
And it'll show you a system message that says PvP hotbar swap.
Yeah. There'll be a notification that you are now in a PvP area.
Yep. Chocobo companions and pets can no longer be summoned at the Wolves' Den.
Yeah, I don't know why that was even a thing in the first place.
Because people like to have their little minions out.
And they've swapped up the rewards for the 8-on-8 training matches and 4-on-4 ranked matches. XP, Wolfmarked, Poetics, and Verity in varying amounts for the winners and losers.
Yep.
Oh, and it looks like they've swapped up the stuff all around. I'm guessing it's mostly Poetics and Verity, but there might be some changes to the XP.
So there is still PvP XP.
Yep. I wonder how that works now.
Well, no, PvP gives you XP outside of PvP now, I heard.
But like the amount it's giving is like 600 or 400 or 300. So I'm not sure what's up with that. That might be something to do with being able to get access to rewards.
We'll see. It looks like there is still ranks, but it doesn't give you... So the more you do it, the higher your rank will get, but it won't affect your skills.
They've added some more of those quick chat options where you have preformed messages that you can hit a button to send a specific message to your party. So
you can put those in, that'll be nice because if you get new hotbars, you'll be able to put those into macros to hotbar spots and not have to worry about it. So
yeah,
not screwing up everything else. Item level sync has been removed from duels. Blah 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 blah.
They changed up the various NPCs that were selling the PvP gear to make it a little easier to follow. So, for instance, there's one of the NPCs now specifically carries weapons for all Disciples of War. So all of the weapons end up on him instead of it being sorted by the item level of the stuff.
And then if you want to be a spectator, you have to be level 30 or above.
Yep. A couple other minor changes like that. Nothing hugely important, I think.
Yes.
All right.
So
moving on.
Blah 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 blah. Once the full patch notes come out, we'll point to those. We might jump over to those if we have time still. Also, hi Ruby, welcome to the pre-Stormblood. We want to read stuff and do something party.
Hey Ruby.
So let's see. Items. New items have been added.
No
Due to the
way.
volume added, they will not be listed in the patch
Really?
notes.
Items.
New
Holy shit.
recipes have been added. Due to the volume of recipes added, they will not be listed in the patch notes.
Oh, you're lying.
Ooh,
No,
certain
on
recipes
both of
have
them.
been simplified. These simplified recipes will be available if they don't appear in the crafting completion records or have never been completed before.
They've
Yeah.
added some new recipes to the 3.0 master recipe books.
Ooh, nice.
Added Samurai and Red Mage as the job for certain. So adding Samurai and Red Mage onto certain gear pieces.
The Keeper's Hymn can no longer be used to remove the attribute points. So what the fuck can we get with our Keeper's Hymn?
Nothing.
Nothing. You can't even sell them.
If there's I remember similar items. They made it where you could trade it back in for company seals.
I hope that's the case. I mean, it's going to be sad, though, because I remember buying those for lots and lots of seals because I had nothing else to buy back in 2.0.
Let's see, they've added grade 6 materia. Attempts to affix grade 6 materia will always result in failure if it's used as a second or later materia in advanced materia melding. So 1 grade 6 per item, it sounds like.
Okay, here's the question.
Oh, and
yeah?
yeah?
Okay, so it has to go in the first slot, or could you put
Sounds
it in the
like
second
it.
slot potentially? If it's got, you could put it in the
I
second
think
slot
it
if
has
there's
to be in the
multiple.
first. I think it has to be in the first slot. Generally, if you're thinking at all about the order stuff, you wouldn't want to add a 6 on later.
You want to put it on this first slot. You're right.
So carbonized matter is no longer a thing.
Huh.
You can't get it from duties and quests. You can gather it for class quests because there are a couple of like the botanist and minor quests where you need to get carbonized matter. But I think that's just because they didn't want to have to rewrite that entire quest.
And sales
Vendors
prices
will no longer-
has been adjusted.
I'm guessing so people can sell off what they have left and get something for it.
Wow.
And players won't be able to sell or purchase it on the market. So it's no longer going to be a thing, but it sounds like they'll at least let you convert what you do have into money.
That's all right. I'm okay with this.
Yep.
I mean, that's basically, 2 or 3 stacks of things I don't have to carry in my inventory anymore.
Yep.
Pretty much. Materia melders will now affix materia for cheaper. Those materia melder NPCs only do materia into slots. They will not do the advanced overmelding.
Yes.
Some pieces of materia of affixed gear can now get more craftsmanship control and CP. This is specifically listed as a 2.x change, so I'm guessing it's older items.
A new value cap will be applied to any items with a fixed materia surpassing the previous cap. Very cool.
So if you had stuff that was already melded past this for whatever reason, it will now reflect the changes.
Yep. And they renamed a few items, blah, 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 blah.
I appreciate this. I remember looking
do
at the
too.
description of Oriental bean sauce and be like, okay, that's soy sauce, isn't it? And I guess now with the contact to the Far East, we actually get to learn what the heck this stuff
Yep.
is.
So we get miso and we get soy sauce.
I mean, they already were miso and soy sauce. It's just that now we know they are.
Yes.
I mean, I already knew they were, but I read item descriptions and think about cooking methods.
The following items will become tradable items and can no longer be bought or sold. Forever friends.
That is the painting of Ida and Papalimo. I believe it was one that you could purchase with company credits and then sell on the market boards. I think you can still trade it to people, but you cannot run a business out of it.
Good.
So
They're
you can,
changing
but
up-
you can still use it. You can still use company credits to buy it, though, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
but it's no longer, you can't sell it on the markets is the main point, but you can trade it to people.
Gotcha.
They've changed the icons for the various grades of dark matter, piety materia. I'm guessing piety materia is now red because it's now a substat.
Maybe purple.
I mean, that's the skill speed and spell. It's one of those. It's one of those ones. I'm not sure which would it be, but it's not that light blue because it's no longer a main attribute.
Correct.
And the icons for the emotes learned from ballroom etiquette manuals. Those are like the little icons that you can put on your hotbar. It looks like they've changed the icons for some of them around.
Cool. Sound effects have been added to the draw action for certain weapons. So like the...
Oh, no, I don't have to do it myself.
I'm hoping it's like the Moogle weapons or something. They have those little music notes.
Gear that can be exchanged for elegant tomestones of scripture implemented prior to patch 3.4 can now be sold, desynthesized, or submitted for expert delivery missions, just like I said.
Yep.
And it's listed as a 2.x thing because it happens in a 2.x area.
I still have some, but like that's a separate thing from what you were talking about up there.
Well,
like this is listed as a separate.
Yeah.
I think we'll find out. I just like arguing right now.
Grade 7 dark matter is a thing.
Also, 26 minutes past, still no final non-preliminary notes or job guide.
Damn you, Yoshida!
Changed up the buying selling prices of certain items, the NPC prices. Desynthesis, level cap has gone up a bit.
Quite a bit.
Still the same thing. Yeah, it's still the same thing of you can cap off 3 and have around 20 points to play with.
So the success rates have been increased.
So yeah, item desynthesis succeeds more often. The skill progression rates, so like how much stuff skills you up, has been increased. And they're going to kick up those progression rates even more for classes that don't have many items available for desynthesis. Woo. As someone with that, I was working on, but it's still fairly low for this reason, carpentry desynth, this is a very welcome change. There's not a lot of options. I certainly don't have all of those dungeon drops that goldsmithers get access to.
All right.
Yeah, my goldsmith desynth is 230.
Mine's in the 200s as well.
Mine's 0.
Yeah, I didn't want to do goldsmithing desynth.
Wow, Luna, the algorithm really likes that picture of you in a Nero.
Apparently.
That's like the 5th time I've
just
seen
went
it.
through it already.
No, I've known seen a couple times where it showed a picture and then seemed to show the same one like 3 slides later. I question the random. Actually, no, randomness like this does result in clumping.
Yes.
What we want is a shuffle, not a random. But hey, that's a rather lovely one.
All right.
Sorry, I'm taking a moment to look at the picture shift.
Yeah, let's take a moment and we'll talk about what's going on. Like I said, because we don't have anything in the game, and we don't really want to show cameras right now because I'm not pretty. We decided to put together a bunch of screenshots from Heavensward, and we included FanFest as well, and just a way for us to kind of remember it. So you got the people watching the YouTube video and live here at Twitch. You got something to look at while we're discussing this and listening to our voices. So.
All sorts of special memories.
And you just see that was your picture of...
That one was from last night.
Yes.
The one that's...
Memories.
Yep.
Memories like last night.
Yeah, that one was from 1:30 a.m. today, technically.
Luna's favorite, Paisa Santa.
It's staring into my soul. I don't feel okay with this.
Yatta!
That's what the hell?
That's what I did the Vanderbilt quests in.
I'm okay with that.
Yes, Ruby, the Nidhogg burb is in there.
Yep.
Lalafell Klaus.
Yep, I had to show
good
that because that
time.
was a thing.
Oh, I stuck a few in there
Then mutton
myself.
chops.
Yeah, it was a Lemmy Lalafell.
Because I didn't get my pictures in time, I put all mine on Facebook.
When I got 50 barred.
All right, let's keep going.
All right.
New crafter actions have been added. We know because we already know that we get level 70.
Yep. They talk a little bit more about those later on. Biragot's Brow can be used to make non-quality, high-quality items. And they've changed some stuff so specialists get a bit more benefit from some things. Specialists get 100% success rate out of Biragot's Brow. Biragot's Miracle, that's the one that was sort of the... what was it? It was Biragot's for lower numbers of stacks. They actually changed it from a 10% boost to a 15% boost per stack. So it's actually a little more worth using at lower stacks. They also made it cheaper.
Trained hand success rates have increased from 90 to 100%. CP costs reduced.
Which one was Trained Hand? That's familiar.
I don't remember.
That's a specialist ability.
Probably. And observe CP costs reduced from 14 to 7. I like that. So you're not wasting as much CP on basically skipping a turn.
So just Trained Hand is an ability that gives a 150% efficiency boost to both progress and quality, but it's available only when your Inner Quiet and Whistle stack sizes are identical. It's a specialist action that, like most of the specialist actions, didn't get much use.
So this is going to maybe help it a little bit?
Yeah. Yep. It's kind of this is a thing you are only going to get one shot at, so now it will always work. And it's cheaper to do, so you're more likely to be able to do it.
Yep. When recipes level is higher than your crafter level, the difficulty raising quality will increase, while the difficulty raising progress will decrease.
Now,
so
this
that's
is just for...
To make the item, it's going to be easier, but to make a high-quality version is going to be more difficult. But this is only...
And that's specifically 2.x, yes.
XP can no longer be gained through the following recipes. Recipes learned through Moogle crafting quests or custom deliveries.
So when you're when you're doing a Moogle quest, you'll get the XP at the end, but you're not going to get XP for the crafting during the quest. This is actually an important thing because one thing that one could do would be, say, for instance, make that Moogle's stuff, get the XP from it, toss it away, get fresh materials from the Moogle.
Oh, Sarah, one of my friends on a different link shell, Discord server said the battle guide is out.
Ooh, I'll go and locate that.
All right. We'll continue on. Spearfishing has been added. You have to be level 61 in order to get your spear license, basically. You get that from the Ruby Sea. And they talk about how to spearfish. We'll let you guys read about that.
I would actually suggest people look at the job guide. It's supposed to be something that's introducing to people, so it divides up into the various types of roles, talks a little bit about what they do, and has an individual page for each one. So I would suggest people just go ahead and read that.
That's really nice.
Yeah, it looks like they actually put a bit of work into this.
And they have a separate page for PvP actions, too, it looks like.
Yep.
Cool.
All right, but let's keep moving on through the patch notes.
So
we can go look at the...
they added new spearfishing holes, basically, that you can get to. And then you get...
Teeming waters, thank you.
And then you get the spearfishing gig, your spear.
Yep.
Giggity goo.
Giggity.
And
now, it's different from the other nodes in that you don't select it and then you have an option of points to target and items to get. When you target the waters, you wait for bubbles to show up. And once those bubbles show up, you can spear a creature.
Bubbles!
So it seems like it's somewhat similar to fishing in that you target this point, you do your preparation, and then when it gives you the appropriate notification, you actually spear it.
Whether it's a little bit of a tug on the pole for fishing or now bubbles for spearfishing.
Yep. It does note that you can replace the head of your gig, and that will allow you to spear a larger variety of fish.
Put a head on your gig.
Spearfishing catches are going to be recorded in your fishing log and guide.
And there's
When certain conditions are met, swimming shadows will appear in teeming waters. And I'm guessing those are the big equivalent of big fish.
Dun, dun, dun.
There are 3 types of gig-headed, it says, and that each one allows you to spear different kinds of fish. So you do have some ability to target particular types of fish. They talk a little bit. They list the various new actions, and they talk a bit more about them elsewhere. No, wait, they don't. That was another thing I was looking at. But they mention all the names of them. They don't tell us a lot about what they do. Interesting thing for gatherers, your level 70 trait is enhanced GP regeneration.
Yay!
You also get stronger versions
of enhanced stealth and all that stuff.
Yeah. You also get stronger versions of some of the collectability actions, other things like that. And they also say that certain traits and actions will be obtained from class quests.
All right. Following adjustments have been made for Disciples of Land. Bountiful Yield, GP cost reduced from 200 to 100, and Bountiful Harvest as well, 200 to 100.
Those are the ones that I believe that increases the number of things you get on just the next gather. And they're making that a little bit cheaper.
Yeah, because, I mean, nobody used it otherwise. Utmost Caution is basically doubling for a double reduction. So basically, they're instead of casting it twice and reducing the GP by 5, you cast it once for 200 and it reduces the itemware by 10. So
Instinctual Appraisal has been bumped up to 10, so this may change a little bit of the rotations that people use to try to get items. There's a couple other things that are going to be changing those up as well.
Algorithm used to calculate GP recovered when changing to a non-gatherer class has been adjusted. AAA records cannot be obtained from all fishing spots listed in the fishing guide.
Yeah, there's definitely somewhere. I'm thinking way too much about this. I'm not going to worry about it.
Yeah, well, players can now use consumable items while waiting for fish to bite. Thank God.
Yep, if your food runs out, you can pop another one.
Or if you need to say pop a cordial. And
fuck yes!
Right?
That's nice.
Right?
That is nice.
Oh my God, that makes me so happy. I can actually use fish size and patience.
Yes. Before you had to kind of trick it, use the cordial and then quick get into your or use the ability. The cordial would still go off and you would get, but the refill would happen after. It was a weird thing, but you had to kind of trick
that's kind of playing with server timers. No one should have to do that.
No, but that's what we had to do in order to make use of a cordial.
I'm just saying no one should have to do it.
Yes. Thank you, Square Enix, for listening to us. The duration of legendary nodes and unspoiled locations added during the patch 3.x cycle will be increased from 1 to 2 hours.
You skipped something even better.
Legendary nodes and unspoiled locations will no longer disappear while gatherers are in the midst of gathering.
Yep, if you manage to make it to the node in time, you're starting to do your collectability rotation, and time runs out, you get to finish the node.
Yay.
Good.
Time of day, which legendary nodes has been changed.
So it sounds like, in general, they're making the legendary nodes from the Heavensward areas a bit easier to get to. They'll last for longer, and they'll appear more often.
They've added a collectability piece on the your actual HUD when you're creating the item.
Are you looking at the collectability of crafted items has been adjusted?
Yep. Basically, what they did was they instead of having it be the same as the quality, they basically made it's the first three digits of the quality. Or whatever.
It's slicing off a digit. Yep. It doesn't actually change the internal calculations, but it makes it easier to it makes it so you don't have big, huge numbers to worry about. It's a little easier to keep track of what's going on.
Brings it more down in line with the fishing ones.
The gathering items in general. Botany and mining had similar stuff.
Mm-hmm. Just reading through some other ones. When finishing or crafting an item, the collectibility will now display in the progress window. To Collectible
if
items
you-
deemed high quality when gathered will have a higher collectability. Nice.
I've had this happen. I did my collectability gathering. It does the actual swing to gather it, and it does the little high quality flash.
Mhm.
And I still get the exact same thing. And I know it just feels like I wasted an HQ. But now
Yes.
that'll actually give you a boost.
Yes, that's exactly what I was going to say. That's really nice. Probability of obtaining collectible items when wear exceeds the limit has been increased from 10 to 30%, so you can maybe eke out another one if you need to.
And they've removed Deep Breath and Last Ditch, which I'm not sure I ever saw anyone successfully use.
Players can change specialties up to 3 times a week.
What?
Yes.
This resets Tuesday at 1 a.m., and it may still be somewhat expensive to do so. We'll see what they're charging for that.
Yep.
I don't think they want people changing willy-nilly.
Yellow scripts.
Maybe.
So they've changed up the crafting log in a number of ways. There's new categories for a lot of the items. They've added... they have special recipes and level-based recipes that are separate, and there's a little tab that you click to switch between them, rather than having the special recipes all the way at the bottom.
That's nice.
There's a filter that will hide completed recipes. So if you're going for one of those achievements to make a whole bunch of different items and fill out the log, you can see just which items you have left.
Very nice. Switch between tabs when searching results and search history. New gathering points, new fishing holes, new regional folklore tomes have been added.
One thing to point out, that new fishing holes includes 2.x areas.
Very cool. New items that can be used for authority reduction have been added in 4.x areas.
Off the top of my head, I'm guessing that fishing holes include some of those islands you can swim to off Costa de Sol.
Hey, Chili, the camera angle when crafting as a Lalafell has been adjusted.
Burn! Burn!
They put House of Splendor's collectible appraisals and script exchange in Limsa, Gridania, and Ul'dah.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Yeah, nice little feature there. Players who are delivering, if you're over level 60 and you're delivering stuff under level 60 to a House of Splendors, that's capped at 10,000 now. So once again, no using that to cheese the system.
And then they're adding yellow scripts with no cap, and then they'll be adding another one later on.
So yeah, yellow crafter scripts and yellow gather script are going to be about 2 weeks after the start.
Yep. Blue crafter
There's no
scripts
talk
will no
about
longer
that
be
one.
obtainable.
Yeah.
But you can trade them in for red ones.
Yep.
And the weekly limit has been removed.
Ruby, Lava Scorpion is now writable as a mount, Kappa.
Yay!
Merchant titles have been amended to better explain their function. Following changes are made to vendors. Shields will now be sold under weapons. Nice. Only primary and secondary tools will be displayed under tools.
And when they say tools aside from primary and secondary, that's mostly referring to fishing bait.
Level 50 weapons, armor, and accessories have been added to vendors in Limsa, Gridania, and Ul'dah. 60 has been added to Ishgard.
New items for Calamity Salvagers.
New mounts.
And those in 2x, 3x, and 4x areas.
Yep. New minions, 2x, 3x, and 4x.
Oh my god, Chloe minion.
Let's go through these minions for like just a second.
Well,
I've seen several pictures of. There's a baby Bismarck now.
Yep.
I'm guessing it's the wind-up Bismarck, since we have wind-up primals.
He's
for
a
the other
baby
ones.
Bismarck.
The wind-up Chloe. Your argument is invalid.
Baby Bismarck, and plus I saw a fox in there too.
the otter.
It's really, really cute.
What I
Well,
heard
yeah.
was blah, blah, blah. This is not about wind-up Chloe.
Blah blah blah. Baby Bismarck.
Oh,
Will,
no.
will 4.1 bring us wind up Slowy?
Oh God.
New
She has
bardings
nothing
as
but
well.
eat
So
pot pudding.
Those are some interesting...
yeah.
Baby
All
Bismarck.
right.
Cannon.
And we're now on to system stuff.
Market board has been added to Kugane.
No market board in Ralger's Reach, so I'm guessing Kugane is the one that's going to be busier.
Yep. Following actions and adjustments have been made to retainers, so they can go to 70. Can be registered in the Kugane market.
You can make them a samurai or a red mage.
Woo!
I can't
Provided
that
the
money
requirements
for
are
an actual
met.
job.
pretty much it's the usual type of the requirements are the usual type of stuff to make sure that you don't cheese them into signing them red mage or samurai before you could be one.
Yes. Some retainers selling items icon will now display the city, so you can see instead of have to read it.
Yep. Especially because they like when you have to go into the retainers, the specific retainers thing. Now you can see from the list of all your retainers. Also, this person is crap at naming their retainers.
Yes. Retainer ventures have been adjusted. New objectives have been added to delivery missions and exploration ventures. And retainer ventures and quick explorations have been adjusted so players do not obtain certain unnecessary items.
Anything that's not a fish. Totally unnecessary. Nothing but fish.
Nothing but malm kelp and sea cucumbers.
Hey,
Nothing but chums.
no. Malm kelp might be useful for making sushi.
Random roofs and doors as well.
New achievements and titles have been added. Achievement titles have been omitted to prevent spoilers.
The extreme primal battles in 4.0 will count towards those achievements that require completion of high-level full party. So stuff like your tank mounts.
Following the
New
removal
tank
of the
mounts.
fold, conditions for obtaining
achievement-
related achievements have been adjusted as follows.
Pretty much any achievement that required you to participate in a fold match or in some number of fold matches or things like that, since fold matches no longer exist, your feast matches will now count as well.
Yep, but you'll still also get your old fold matches that you participated in.
Yep. If you want to become a mentor for a DPS role, then you're going to need to complete the Samurai and Red Mage achievements, the ones their first achievement set, because it's Sam I Am 1. Ha! And Red on Arrival 1.
In accordance with the increased level cap, the conditions that must be met to your status as new adventure have been adjusted. Played less than 168 hours and have not completed the main scenario quest, The Far Edge of Fate.
That's actually an or, not an and. So if you manage to complete The Far Edge of Fate and it's still not played 168 hours, you could still be a new adventurer.
Okay.
But pretty much you can continue to be a new adventurer until you get to Stormblood.
Players who
the
no longer have
online
new adventure
status away
status,
from-
you can turn it back on by NA status on in a text command.
If you really want that sprout.
Well, some people might like the green leaf minute. Sorry, Pete.
Wait, Pete.
So they've it's a minor thing, but the online status away from keyboard now takes priority over camera mode. So when someone's looking at the link shell list, if someone is in camera mode and has also been AFK for a while, it'll show the AFK one.
Okay, yeah. I can see that.
Job
they've added the
gauges.
job
Yep.
and they refer you to the job guide for that. One thing that they've changed with regards to that is if you have an auction icon on a toolbar and it requires job gauge points, it'll show that number of job gauge points it needs at the top of the icon. They've also changed the color of TP cost numbers in order to make that more visually distinct.
Party Finder changes. Lots of changes with Party Finder.
Well, with Pathfinder, you can now set it for newbie bonus, so people can't join in if they've got a newbie bonus.
Yep.
Yeah. If you want to do a duty complete, now you can't sneak in.
Yep.
Or you can do the beginner's first timers welcome. So,
Because those sweet newbie bonuses.
right? For the books.
Yeah, but if you're farming birds and you've asked for no newbie, no newbie bonus.
No, it makes sense.
You can choose the one that's appropriate to your situation.
Players now able to invite characters from the same world to join their cross-world party. Nice. So you don't have to tell them you join the Party Finders. I can send you an invite.
That was actually something that I found about just last night when I was trying to do that last push for my anima axe, and I had a couple friends who were willing to help me out, and it's like, okay, want to invite you? God damn it. Okay, I'll join the thing quickly.
Wait,
Right.
how do you invite them then?
You right-click on the same way you invite them normally.
It's just that normally, if you have a party finder up, you cannot directly invite people like you could
Okay.
otherwise.
Yes, now you can.
Okay, I'm very confused. I'm
Oh
sleeping.
my god, players can now set a maximum average item level of 999.
Don't know why, but have fun with that. One thing that I think is nice, it's not just the people who are creating the parties, the duty finder parties or party finder parties that can set these options, but you can also search to, for instance, find parties that are focused on duty completion or on welcoming beginners or on other stuff like that. Like these, you can do the searches for this as well.
Holy crap! We're not only getting the D, we're getting 1 and 2. Sorry, I wanted to jump to the waymarks real quick, but
you just wanted the D so badly.
He just wants the big.
But the 1 and the 2 are squares. That's interesting.
Yep, they're visually distinct, so it could be useful for saying, for instance, this is where these people go, this is where these ones will go, or these are areas you want to avoid, or other things like that.
But I'm going to go back up. The display of the fly text has been adjusted. A crit is an exclamation. A direct is a different color, slightly, isn't it?
It's also just a little bit bigger. So direct hit is a little bit bigger than usual. Critical hit is a bit bigger and has an exclamation.
A direct crit is a double exclamation.
And freaking huge.
You got wee, not so wee, and freaking huge.
One that I think a lot of people are going to be very happy about, that enmity list with all of the monsters that have enmity on you will now actually show progress bars and action names. So if I'm tanking something, I can see that multiple things are using stuff, and I can see, oh, hey, that one over in the corner is about to use Final Sting, and switch to that a bit more easily.
Nice.
As a tank who is often handling multiple things at once, it is really nice to be able to know exactly which monster is doing the thing I need to do something about.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
Actions and traits has been adjusted.
They've added the role actions.
PvP tab has been removed. Fisher actions have been added to the additional tab. Actions you have tamed will now also be displayed in the job tab.
That totally gives you something to look forward to. I can't recall how many times I've had to ask someone, it's like, okay, I'm on Summoner. Do I get this thing at 56 or 58?
Lots of group pose stuff being added.
Thank God.
Select action.
Battle actions and item motions can be repeated. Man, you have a lot of options in how you do your group poses.
Yep. New color filters.
Sakura.
Screen effect patterns.
Yep. Lots of interesting stuff there to play with. World map
Final
changes.
Fantasy 14. Instagram.
Region map has been expanded.
And the world map shows an Eorzean one or a Far East one. I was wondering how they were going to handle that world map thing.
If there's an NPC in an area you cannot check on the map related to a quest you've accepted, the quest icon will now appear at the entrance to that area. Okay.
It's pretty much now the region map will let you see, instead of having like each of those individual rectangles with a screenshot of it, it now shows more of a general regional type thing, and it lets you see a lot of the other stuff that's going on, and including quests that are going on and where they are. And it's saying if you cannot so, for instance, that quest it's showing is one that's actually in the Waking Sands. Okay. You cannot see the Waking Sands on that map, but it'll touch you know, hey, you've got a thing at this area.
Yes, Malfested skills will be available within G-Pose, at least battle skills. A main scenario guide has been added, so that's kind of nice. Just kind of point you in the right direction on MSQ. Armoire categories.
They're icons now.
Yes.
And it looks like they added some of them, so that stuff is actually divided up a bit. That'll make it easier.
Players can now switch between viewing NQ and HQ attributes on item comparison.
Yeah. So if, for instance, you're looking at it, you have a particular item, like say there's an item you can craft, you could do the item comparison for it, and then compare to the HQ version and decide, hey, is this something I want to craft or get made? Like, it's going to be a little bit easier to do a lot of those comparisons.
Yep. Expanded inventory. I'm skipping a lot of that stuff because it's just BS stuff. Let's get to talk about the expanded inventory.
I think there's some worthwhile stuff in the character window. They've changed the display of attributes. They have removed that resistances tab, so that's not something we need to worry about. Made it a bit easier to see all of your classes. And from now on, if you have a class, when it becomes a job, it will no longer show the class info, it'll show the job info. So they're really moving away from the whole class thing.
Okay. And then inventory expansion. Armory is 25 to 35. Inventory is 100 to 140. And there will be a secondary change later on in the expansion.
Yep. They have expanded the grid a bit. It is nice.
Minions summoned when the players log out will automatically be resummoned when you log in.
Now that's
Yay!
locally, so if you sign out on your computer at home and then you sign in at a friend's house,
Yes.
it's not going to carry that over.
Or from, I
It's
guess I've got it on my,
greatest thing.
I've got it on laptop and PC, and I've got PS4 as well, technically. So, yeah.
The greatest injustice.
What?
Anyways.
I said PS4, not PS3.
No, the bit about how it won't automatically resummon your minion. The worst.
Oh
Womp
no.
womp. Temple leaves
Oh,
and
they
guild leaves
download-
categories under leave quests have been combined.
The repairs window now actually shows the percentage that your gear is at, rather than just showing you that little bar.
That's nice.
Materia melding window has been adjusted. Following
they've
the
taken
removal
out
of matter.
They've taken out the carbonized matter thing. They've changed the available enhancements because of the battle attributes changes. They've added some sections to account for grade 4, and it will not let you press the meld button if your
grade
success
6?
rate is 0. Yeah. So apparently, if your meld rate was 0, you could still attempt it before.
Yeah.
And now it's like, no, we're not letting you do that. The contact list, which shows the people with which you were most recently partied, now shows what job they were on and what duty it was for.
Cool.
If this is something you make use of, if you're like, hey, I was with this really cool person in this duty finder thing, you'll be able to see where they are.
Or if they were total dickbags and you need to report them easily.
You can
Yes,
go back.
that's actually even more valuable if you need to report that, hey, this person, being able to say, yes, it is this person from this world.
Mm-hmm.
The little active help, the tutorial things, has been adjusted to account for 4.0 stuff.
Lots and lots and lots of random
By the
things
way,
now.
By the way, I want to say you could always see what world they were, but I think it's the dungeon that's new.
Ooh, okay, here's one that I like, and this might affect Luna and I. Certain Logitech illuminated keyboards are now supported.
Ooh.
Yeah, lots of HUD changes that.
Yep.
Go ahead and read those yourself.
New music!
They do add 200 macros.
One is...
Which you can read through yourself.
Yep, one's character, one is account. So, yeah, lots and lots of
hang on.
random stuff.
New macros include /water float, /water flip, perform a somersault underwater, /pucker up, and /eastern bow.
All right. So, well, we
That's
killed
it.
2 hours.
Hang on. One other one. In order to reduce server congestion after the release of patch 4.0, players who are inactive for 30 minutes will be logged out automatically.
Just like they did
Oh.
in Heavensward.
And just like in Heavensward, they'll keep an eye on server activity. When congestion is no longer an issue, they'll take that out. But for now, if you're going AFK, it's going to give someone else a chance.
Yay! So Frank can't sit at the Aetherite and just sit there.
Or just get a rubber band, tie on your controller, and run around in circles.
He is a freaking fixture on our server. Like, people all over know him as, like, that guy who's always standing at the Aetherite with the post moogle.
Yep. Except lately it's been naming way.
Well, yeah. And they've added those optional items, Tales of Adventure, A Realm Reborn, One Dragoon's Journey, etc., etc. All the stuff that... the jump potions.
Yes.
And let's see if they've up...
Please
Which I
look
will be
forward to
buying.
it.
Additions haven't made it to the patch 4.0 notes, which can now be viewed in their entirety. What do you mean the page has been removed? Ugh.
What?
What?
Oh. Because it's...
So the main site now says that the patch notes can be viewed in their entirety.
and the
but-
page cannot be found. We just lost our patch notes. Oh, it's a good thing we
Yeah,
just
I
finished.
definitely
Huh?
not updating it. Trolling bastards.
So...
If you want to talk a little more, I'll keep an eye for it and I'll skim through when it comes up. to see
I
if there's
think we
anything
can go ahead and
looking at
call it a night. We've been doing this for 2 hours, so
Yeah.
it was a way for us to just do something, have some fun, but before the opening of early access, and get people together and get excited for it, right?
I've been doing your mom for 2 hours.
Whoa.
I highly
it-
doubt
oh,
that.
Mom.
Good endurance there, though.
Thank
work.
you. I mean, tank boosted my vitality. That's what that means, right?
Oh, God.
Plus, now that
Alright.
sprint doesn't cost TP. Yeah.
Good times.
All right.
I should probably have dinner.
So, we will see everybody, I guess, in Stormblood, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yay! By the way, the race is level 64.
Okay.
Ah.
Let's any quick shout outs before we get into the
Oh, that picture. That fucking picture.
Are you talking about the Paisa?
366
Oh, that one.
minutes
Okay.
waited.
I can remember I'm ahead of you guys, so
Ugh.
for me it was the Paisa, but then the one after the Paisa you'll be happy about.
Yay!
So any quick
Totally
shout outs?
worth it.
Let's shout out everyone who's turned up.
Yep.
Ready?
Thank you, everybody who stopped by to listen to us ramble about the preliminary patch notes. For those of you like me who are having to go to work tomorrow, we get the feels bad, man. For everybody who gets to play, enjoy. Please remember, be respectful to the rest of the community. Don't put any spoilers up on social media. Please, please, please. Let everybody get through the storyline first.
Then please post it.
What?
Unless it's a lava scorpion mount, then please post it.
No, that's a spoiler. Do not post that.
Just like privately message Chili about it.
Yes, privately message Chili.
Yes,
Send him a
please.
DM. But other than that, please don't post the spoilers so everybody has a chance to enjoy this game at their own pace. All right.
By the way, if anyone can fake a sufficiently convincing thing of a lava scorpion mount and gets Chili to believe you, I'll I don't know. What do I bribe people with?
Living.
And,
I will let you live.
And just
Wait, no.
just remember, just like Cookie Nurse says, don't skip cutscenes or Sarah will find you. And
Lava
Sarah will
scorpion
catch you.
moods.
Not going to.
All right, we're going to go ahead and call it tonight. Thank you, everybody, for stopping by live and everybody listening out on the podcast. Remember, we do have a regular episode going live not this Saturday, but next Saturday, the 24th, so make sure to check that out. For Lunavox, for Sarah Timono, and for Chili, I am Klaus Nightbringer, wishing everybody a wonderful evening. We'll see you in Stormblood. Take care.
Phoenix Down Radio is a production of PhoenixDownRadio.com and Illusion Productions. Final Fantasy XIV and Eorzea are trademarks of Square Enix. In-game content for Phoenix Down Radio is the copyright of Square Enix. Opening music for Phoenix Down Radio is provided by Guilty Gear Rock You. Check out the Metal Chocobo theme cover and many other music videos at youtube.com/Guilty Gear Rock You. Closing music for this episode is provided by Guitar Wanker 90. Please check out their full version of Matoya's Cave and other rock video game covers at youtube.com/Guitar Wanker 90. The views and opinions expressed in this episode are those of Phoenix Down Radio and its hosts and do not reflect the views of Square Enix.